Hiroshi, thank you for agreeing to help us with this podcast. You're just back in Tokyo from a trip to Europe to get feedback and to spread the word about your recent request to the organisers of the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. Can you tell us a little bit about the request and why you decided to issue it at this time?
Yes, I have been discussing with Tokyo Olympic Committee members who are in charge of the sustainability events. I think it's almost a time limit before we start anything of this activities, because many Japanese companies and other actors are not be aware to acknowledge the issue of business and human rights or even the UN guiding principles. So in this case, we need to have more time to be prepared how we could encourage and to give a wake-up call to those actors. So we decided this is the last chance. So that's why in my first step, I wrote this requirement and request to this Japanese government and IOC and other actors. So that's the reason why I started.
Can you tell us about a few of the requests that you've made particularly?
I would just encourage not to protest all these actors, but my first aim is how we can collaborate and enhance the level of all the stakeholders' concerns and demands. So my first impression is that it is very important to respect and take more responsibility, more seriously about these UN guiding principles, how we try to attach to this Tokyo Olympic big events, because that could also many Japanese companies are involving in this event. So particularly, I really try to encourage those actors to work on this issue. So that is my first aim, to give these ideas.
What reaction have you had so far to the request?
Oh, that's a good question. I just sent a request almost 10 days ago. So far, I just sent how we could then decide the theme of the sustainability events of this 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. Just a broad questions. But I particularly picked up 8 topics about the environmental issues. We also wrote some of the topics that's also it's important about the human rights perspectives and the governance issues and transparencies, accountabilities, all these issues which I wrote down on the list, which is 8 items. And now I sent them for the public consultation. Many people can reply on this, and they can choose and pick up those items. And after all, we will report back to these Tokyo Olympic Committee members. That's how we are proceeding at this moment. And within 2 weeks' time, we will start making a proposal for the sourcing code for each sector basis. So that's the next steps.
What do you see as some of the key human rights risks ahead of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics? Are there some key areas that are of concern to you?
Yes. Migrant workers in Japan. Because of this shortage of the workers in Japan, and most of the workers are not enough at this moment, especially for the construction companies. So when we start building up the stadium, most of the workers are not only the Japanese. Some of the people are coming from, I assume that they are coming from China and Philippines. It's very important how we try to respect their cultures and identity and how you communicate with them. And might be some of the issues that related to this human rights perspective also occurred in this situation. So I'm really concerned about on these topics, especially in Philippines.
No, I mean that I think, as you know, Hiroshi, is an area that the IHRB has been working on for some time and was working on in relation to the Dakar principles. And you see also that Philippine workers maybe going into the hospitality industry would be a concern?
Yes, that's a good point. Maybe we need to make more research and investigate how those people will go to the other sectors as well. So we need to have a traceability to check about their movement.
Great. Yeah. Are you working with the Tokyo Olympic Organizing Committee? Are you advising them in any way?
Yes, yesterday I had a meeting with one of the executives for 2 hours. What I had seen and I have heard and had received the comments from all the people whom I met while I was in Europe and US in Asia for these 2 months. So we took about 2 hours. And then he recognized that we should need to make more faster to speed up. Otherwise, they cannot afford to accept or reply to those requests and demands from the stakeholders related to these human rights issues.
Gotcha. Are there any examples of good practice from around the world that you're promoting and discussing with the Tokyo Olympic Committee?
Yes, maybe we are suggesting that they should also start thinking as well about the grievance mechanism. So in this case, I have been discussing with some of the some of the other countries who are keen to work on this, like OECD National Contact Point. So we have been discussing this point. Unfortunately, Japanese government is not particularly keen on these topics. So I need to have a discussion with the State Department last month, and they give us a good sort of the reply and how we can collaborate on this perspectives too.
Hiroshi, what are your next steps? What are your plans in terms of trying to translate this request into more action by the organisers and the sponsors?
In that, my next plan may be too ambitious, but my ideas could be, we need to create some of this kind of the members, like an executive or like an advisory board for the Tokyo Olympic Games. Maybe like IHRB is one of the key sort of the organization, and other organization, we would like start up to make this kind of network of the teams who could give some of the advice from the externally, and also we give some of the solution, because most of those organizations had a good practice, so we can share some of our best practice, and we can start to support the Tokyo Olympic Committee members, because they are really open-minded to listen to our request and demand. So we would, while they are open, we would like to develop this kind of the framework, how we can support these Tokyo Olympic Committee members. So my next goal is how we can start establish this kind of the team who could give some of the advice from the external, not only in Japan, the global organizations.
Terrific. Well, Hiroshi, thank you. No, I think that's something that certainly IHRB and I'm sure others would like to work with you on.